So as you saw in the last video, everything's working good, everything's lit up, nothing's really playing yet, but here's where we're at. Something like this. Processor isn't on yet, and that LF audio remote knob isn't on yet, but it's about to be here in a second. So what I have to do here is a bunch of work that probably usually wouldn't even make YouTube, but if I don't show you, you'd think it was too easy. I got a whole pile of wires here. We got LED wires for days. We got the white LEDs for inside the box. We got 3 different sets of RGB, and that's cob lighting with the data wire. We got remotes. We got wires for the processors and stuff. So the challenge is to get it all to look halfway decent in here and get it working. And to do that, I'm gonna have to use a relay and that box to run the LEDs, and we're gonna get to some bus bars for these batteries. So let's go. I got this thing a while back and I've been looking for an excuse to use it. Typically I use regular relays, but this one right here was kind of enticing because it's got some cool little features on it. But yeah, we're gonna use this inside of here. Basically what a relay does is it turns a little signal into a big signal. You wouldn't want to run anything that was even slightly demanding on that remote wire. So what the remote wire is gonna do is when it turns on, it's gonna activate this right here and turn this on. And this is gonna have the bigger wire in it. And there's a reason why I ran that extra 8-gauge wire from the main fuse block. That way I could use this thing right here. Really nothing to it. We got a big positive that's going to come in here. We got a negative for the actual unit, and these are all going to trigger whether or not these are active. Pretty simple. So we use a couple of them. We use one of them, maybe channel 1 for the remotes. So everything that has a remote on it will get triggered off of that, instead of trying to drag down the head unit by using the factory remote for all that. So the factory remote will trigger a positive over here, which will open up this big one right here. And then I'll have another one that will trigger, when I turn the LEDs on, it'll allow power to come through another bigger wire, which will run that box. Those LEDs are pretty demanding, especially for how many we have. We're gonna need some kind of relay. So this should work out great. Yep, cardboard for the win. Let's turn this into some aluminum. This bit drills and taps at the same time. Works good for the little stuff like this. 832 button head, Allen head. These other devices right here, like this little switch box and this LED controller, don't really have any way to mount them with a nice fancy screw, so we will use the magical red 3M tape. All right, today's goal is to turn all those messy wires into something clean. What a mess, but slowly starting to form into something. These are the little things that never get any credit on any builds, no matter who's doing them. All the tedious little wires. There's probably like 30 in there. And I gotta add a couple more. Like a lot of the stuff that I cut, everything starts out with cardboard and an idea. I change it like 50 times until I'm happy. All right, it's starting to take shape. I got some wires to cut and trim. But you can see what the bus bars are doing. Made them out of acrylic after I played around with cardboard for a little bit, because that acrylic is 3/16, and I think I'm going to use 3/16 aluminum for that. I think I'm limited to 3/16 if I still want to shut the seat, so that's what we're doing. Sometimes the cardboard collapses and it's easy to move around when it shouldn't be moving around. So had a little bit of scrap 3/16 inch acrylic right here, and seems like everything's gonna be good. So now that that's looking good, it's time to move up to some aluminum. So I got a nice solid chunk of 3/16 inch aluminum right here. Thanks to Bobby Gailey, he left it over here one day when he was gonna do a project with it, decided not to, but left the metal. So we're gonna hijack it. Yeah. Got some acrylic right here. We'll lay this out just so I know if I got room, and it looks like I got plenty of room to get this done. Look at that curve. That's the reason why lasers rule over plasmas. Hey, let's make an acrylic cover for these, because this is going to be ground, so it's not that big of a deal, but this one's going to be hot. So we'll put a little clear acrylic cover over the top of it. We'll make it fancy. Just like that, we got some bus bars. I wanted to give these things a slight turn down just so they'll clear the top bar that's behind the seat. I gave them just a little bit too much of a turn down here, but I adjusted it later. They bend back really easy, but you can see when you look at it how nice these come out. No smashing them with a hammer trying to get a bend, and they're all consistent and they're all the same, but I did end up bending them back just a little bit. Look at it. Bars. Yeah.
And I booty poke out. And she be on to the